good morning, and welcome to my Monday messages. I think I'm live. Yes, I am. So, welcome to a Monday morning in September, and I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I had a stunning weekend and took advantage of the beautiful weather that we had on Saturday and went down with my husband to one of my absolute favourite places in the whole world, and that's right down on the tip of the peninsula here in Kerry, a place called Derrynane, and it was just stunning. And I was able to swim, and the water was beautifully warm and crystal clear, and we just had beautiful walks and lovely food, and it was just like being on holiday, so it was lovely. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rebecca, and I'm a homeopath. I'm a holistic health coach and a natural health advocate. And as part of my commitment to helping as many women as possible to recover themselves physically, emotionally, or spiritually, all three, I just pop in here on a Monday to share something that I know has worked for me and that has worked for many of my clients, and I share it because I hope that it will work for you as well. So today, and I can see somebody's on. You're very welcome, and if you're watching the replay, you're equally welcome. So today I wanted to talk about, first of all, about health boundaries, and also the time of year that we're in at the moment, and why it's even more important than usual to be looking at your own health boundaries. So I know that lots of us are very familiar with talking about life coaching, health, coaching generally, personal development, and talking about how important it is for all of us to actually recognise what our boundaries are, and be able to put them in place and make sure that they're strong and that they protect us and that they enable things that we don't want to come in to stop some way away from us rather than actually invading us and triggering us, if you like, emotionally or mentally. So the same is true, obviously, for your physical health. And in order to be able to operate at full health, we need to have our physical boundaries as strong as we can make them. And that's true no matter what medical or health system that you choose. We all have to make sure, if we want to be as healthy as possible, that all the inherent systems within our bodies are actually working as well as they can possibly work. And the only people that can do that is us. And that is back to the kind of building block stuff. It's how you eat, it's what you drink, it's what you put into and onto your body. And it's also how you live your life. So, how much fresh air you get, how much sleep you get, how stressed you are, all of those things. So when we're talking about holistic health, that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about taking a look at the whole of our health, not just one bit of it. I know that most of you are going to understand this, but bear with me, I'm going somewhere with it. What triggered me to talk about this today was a reminder that I been a bit naughty, that I've let my MCT lapse. And for those of you not in Ireland, that's my the equivalent of the UK MOT for my car, basically. That's the regular checkup that has to be done to make sure that a car is as healthy and as safe as possible, and hopefully to identify any problems that might be looming And that's something that we're legally obliged to do. And if you don't have an up-to-date NCT, you cannot drive your car. Well, you can, but you're doing it illegally. And it also nullifies things like your insurance. So all of that. So what I wanted to remind you of today is the importance of doing that health-wise. You know, we're kind of conditioned to only consider our health when something goes wrong. And what I'm asking you to do is to actually think about the times of year, particularly now, when we are actually more vulnerable, or all of us actually, some of us more than others though, and not waiting until we break, but actually looking at what is already under strain and might need a bit of extra support. Good morning, Gronya, and you're very, very welcome. Thank you for joining me. So, first of all, a reminder that this is very much the time of year where our lungs are and our respiratory system is more vulnerable than at other times for lots of reasons. But it's historically always been the season for coughs, colds, flus, mucousy stuff. It's always, this is the time from now until I would say January, perhaps even beyond that, where if you're going to do that kind of illness, it's going to be in this period of the year. You know, you can talk to any parent of school-aged children or teachers in schools, that there's more incidences of those types of illnesses in this period than any other time of the year. So it's historically a vulnerable time. And I want to remind you of that, firstly, because it's a time to come in, you know, not wait till that happens, basically, and also to think about how you or your family members have been in the previous seasons. And if you know that there's a vulnerability there, if you know that it's actually quite likely that your health will just drop a bit, that you will struggle a bit, and that you are triggered by the colder, damper, darker weeks of the year, then come in now for a health NCT or MOT, and we can start strengthening up those areas of vulnerability right now rather than waiting until they actually start manifesting symptoms. So that's the first thing. And now I've lost my thread now. Yes, so coming in with that now, also recognising, and I really want to urge you to remember this, that this has always been the season for coughs, colds and flus. Always. Even in ancient or traditional Chinese medicine, this time of year is LungTime. It's always been known that this is the time of year when we're more vulnerable in that area. So anything that comes up in the next few weeks or months is not new. It's not some phenomenon that's only happening right now in the current situation. It has always been the case. And it's not necessarily anything more than what it's always been: coughs, colds, respiratory illnesses. So I wanted to remind you of that before maybe you go off on a bit of a tailspin about what it might be. And also to, if you already know that, to remind others that are perhaps forgetting that this is the season where there are always going to be increases in coughs, colds and chest infections, and, you know, asthmas can get worse and all of those kind of things. So, yeah, that was the second part of my message, really. Also, if you are already ill, even more important to perhaps consider doing whatever you can to resurrect those boundaries and strengthen your own natural resources. And you can do that alongside other health choices or not. That's your decision. What you might want to do is invest in a kit like this. So it's a bit shiny. But this is a basic, obviously you're going to get it back to front as well. This is a basic remedy kit, very far from basic, I have to say. 36 remedies, which actually all cover most eventualities when you're treating yourself or your family with minor illnesses, and some not so minor illnesses, actually. Great way to start with using natural remedies at home. Brilliant to actually have in your home, so that if you are starting to use homeopathy or you wanting to, continue using it, that rather than having to jump in the car when you're not feeling well or come out in those long, dark winter evenings to pick up remedies, you've got them at home, and all you have to do is book an acute call with me, and we will get to the bottom of which is the right remedy for you or for your family member, and you'll have it in your kit. So I can't recommend these highly enough. They are going quite fast, I have to say, because they're actually very difficult to get hold of now over here, because they have to come from the UK, and all the shenanigans with Brexit are causing problems with that. So if you're interested, let me know and I'll keep one by for you. Whether you choose to do that or not, have a think about what you can do right now, even though you might be feeling quite well. What could you do to actually strengthen your health going forward into the darker, colder months? What can you start doing or stop doing that would actually have a positive effect on your physical health at the moment, or your mental, emotional health, whichever you choose, because it's all one, actually. So just have a think about that. So for you, it might be, okay, actually, that's a great reminder for me to restart some building block supplements for myself and my family. It might be, oh, yes, right, let's start taking the vitamin C or the zinc or the Floridix or something like that. If that's a bit of a kind of stab in the dark, which it often is, better to come and actually get bespoke advice, a bespoke prescription, I think, because often you can, if you're taking the right remedies, particularly with kids, actually, that they're not necessarily in need of anything else. But if you're not doing anything else, then supplements are a good option if you know what it is that you're doing. And always go for good quality. Don't go for cheap, because you might as well not bother. Looking at your food as well, perhaps there's something you could do that will increase the quality of the foods that you're eating. Perhaps it's the way you're eating. Perhaps it's a reminder to drink more water. What else? Or, not lapse into not exercising, because, things like movement and exercise are a very important part of our health. Fresh air. We need to be able to breathe properly, particularly at this time of year. As I've said, the lungs are already working very hard at this time of year. So getting enough in there that's going to support them working properly is essential. Getting enough sleep. This time of year, we are all meant to start needing a bit more sleep. We're meant to be slowing down, turning inwards, going into an almost hibernatory state. That is completely normal and natural. So what could you do maybe to just slow things down in your life? Could you do things more mindfully? Could you try and not do more than one thing at a time? All of those things are going to help you to boost your health and to conserve your energy for healing, or for strengthening your health boundaries, strengthening your immune system. So that's it, I think. Let me just see if I've forgotten anything. Well, just to say that if you are already struggling with your health, or you do, you find that you're going into any kind of respiratory illnesses going forward, just a quick reminder that homeopathy has a fantastic track record with flus. And in the 1918 flu epidemic, thanks very much for the thumbs up, the mortality rate actually worldwide with people who were treated homeopathically was actually around 1%, 1.5%. That compared with a 30% mortality rate with those who were not treated homeopathically. Now, those are recorded, they're historical, they're on record, so you can check them out. But that is true just across the board, really, that homeopathy does very well in flus and coughs and chest infections and all of those type of things. And not only does it do very well at treating the actual illness while it's there, but it also can mean that whilst it's happening, you're actually getting stronger and your capacity for doing that kind of illness again gets less and less and less as your strength builds up. So there might be something that will make you consider using homeopathy or starting to use homeopathy. So I hope that makes sense. That's my Monday message. Don't forget that historically, this is the season for coughs and colds and flus and respiratory illnesses. So it is not new. And, if there's a spike in figures, people having those type of illnesses, that is nothing new. And the other thing is to don't wait until you're sick. Come now and strengthen those boundaries so that you are less likely to become very ill over the winter. So I hope that makes sense, and do share any tips that you have for, something that you do anyway to boost your health at this time of year, because it might help someone else, and that would be lovely. Okay, thanks very much for listening. Have a great week and enjoy the last of the good weather. I shouldn't say that really, because weather is just weather. It's not good or bad. But yeah, I'm aware that there's a sort of turn in the weather, and it is cooler. It is obviously getting less light for most of the day, and we are on the turn. We're changing, and that takes some of our energy. Okay, have a good week. Thanks for watching. Bye.